Well, hey everybody, 650 here coming to you from cold Cleveland, Ohio for another classic new bike build series video. In today's episode, Zak the Master Mechanic is going to install some amazing parts sent to us by our good friend and channel sponsor, Miami Manny from Moto Million. And Zak's going to install these parts onto our gorgeous 2024 BMW S 1000 RR. Some of these parts include these new Brembo Hypure calipers. Yeah, because we have to enhance the already stellar braking system on that beautiful bike, and why not use the best of the best? So yeah, guys, keep watching. If you want to win this motorcycle, you can possibly do so by joining our Patreon family. A link to how you can do that is always the first link in the description of my videos. It's cold. I'm coatless. Let's go inside and see what Zak's doing. Zak, you've got a box.
I got this big box that's marked new bike build series S1000 RR.
Nice.
It's not for the dining room. It's not for the living room.
Right.
It's for the new bike build series.
It's properly packaged and marked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's in this box. Looks like, front fender with some air cooling ducts.
Oh yeah, okay.
With the ability to mount,
the hatchets?
yeah, the hatchets or
Nice.
brake rotor covers.
Very cool.
I don't see any of them in here though.
All right.
Looks like we have a lever, breaker clutch.
Okay.
Clutch lever. We got some Stabilis bleeders, quick bleeders.
Beautiful.
Oh, we got one different colored one. That must be for the top, and a brake lever.
Okay.
So I guess we're upgrading that stuff. Oh, here comes the Brembo boxes.
Brembo.
This is the good stuff.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Find my knife again. Probably a master cylinder. Yup, a 17 RCS Corsa Corda.
Oh, very cool.
Lots of adjustment.
Yeah.
Really nice Brembo lever, but since we're gonna put the TWM clutch lever, you can just get the TWM lever half, bolts right on, then you have matching levers.
Sweet.
I do like the way this lever feels though.
Yeah.
And the brake light switch, which we can get rid of. And then,
We probably got some calipers in there.
yep, I'm guessing that's what this is. That's usually what's in this box. Oh boy. Avalanche. Oh yeah, new calipers.
Oh, we got the new Hypures.
Yeah.
Very nice.
It feels pretty light, actually. We might have to weigh these against the stock ones. Usually there's not much of a weight difference between calipers, but I just did a caliper recall on a GS, and these feel substantially lighter, or I'm just stronger today.
Nice. So
You
good.
have silver colored brake pads. That's different. Usually Brembo and every other company, if you look, they're gold on the backing plate.
Yep, I see them right there, gold.
Nice monoblock caliper, so no bolts holding it together. It's all from one piece of aluminum.
Nice.
The weird thing is that, I mean, you still have the pistons, but we're so used to seeing two round cutouts for pistons always.
Yes.
And this, they kind of added this just straight piece in it. So matter of opinion if you like it or not.
It's more
different.
sleek, more modern.
It's different, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And we already have stainless steel lines, so we'll be able to use them. All right, so first thing first, all the brake fluid has to go. So to do that, we're gonna take off our master cylinder reservoir, which is what this plastic thing is. Take the cap off of it. Protect all the surfaces around. Try not to get on the windshield because brake fluid will eat it.
Yes. Quickly?
Yes, pretty quickly. If you do happen to spill some, have a water bottle close by. You can spray water on it. It dilutes the effects of it. But the windshield happens pretty fast.
Okay.
So then we happen to have this nice little Mighty Vac brake bleeder that works off shop air, and it'll just suck all this brake fluid out.
Oh, look at that.
If not, you could use a vacuum pump with a container or like a turkey baster, or just leave it in there and try to dump it in a container, but this thing works awesome. So once we get the brake fluid out of there, we'll go to the farthest caliper away from it, which would be this one on the left side. And we'll open up the bleeder and let this suck all the brake fluid through.
Via gravity?
No, vacuum.
Okay.
With the chopper. So we'll let that go for a little bit. You can push your brake lever, it's fine. We're gonna fill this whole system up with air, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And then we'll bleed the air out later on. We'll just go over to our other side, same thing. Usually don't get much over here. Snug that back up. And then one last spot, we got a bleeder right up here on our stock master cylinder. All right, so our brake system is completely sumped is what you'd call it. No more fluid in it. And we can get to work on, let's put the calipers on first because we know they're gonna fit. We'll come back up and deal with this mess in a bit.
Of course, I should have asked Manny for the titanium bolts for that.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
Yeah.
So then we gotta be careful that you can see there's still a bunch of fluid in here.
Yeah.
So we can just take this over to a drain pan. Over this way, and we will dump it into it. Squeeze the brake pads, try to get out whatever we can. All right, let's see. So this is the dowel pin I was talking about. Usually this isn't machined for it. It kind of looks like it's machined for it. If it is, that's awesome because then it centers itself. Survey says, oh yeah.
Beautiful.
So now when we go to tighten everything up, we can just tighten it. We don't have to like center the wheel and make sure that it's not dragging. That's awesome. We have our stock BMW Nissan 4-piston caliper with brake pads coming in at 2.5.
Yep.
Hypure with brake pads.
Yep.
Coming at 2.
Ah, half pound.
Calibrated elbow, half pound.
Yes. Nice. So it does weigh less.
1 pound overall.
1 pound, yeah.
Where before, with the nickel-plated ones, we were actually heavier. But such a better caliper, it was worth the difference.
Yeah.
And then this doesn't have, I bet you could probably buy a set of race pistons for this that would have holes in it, and it would wind up being even lighter. Like, of course, I pushed this one in, you can't see. They kind of have holes in there for cooling. But yeah, definitely super pumped. We're cut out for the dowel, so let's see if everything truly lines up like we think it's gonna. That'll be awesome. Looks shorter in profile to the wheel.
Yeah, it does.
If you compare it to the other side. Yeah, we can already go ahead and just torque that since it's in its position. That's awesome.
And you have the torque specs memorized.
Yes. Almost all calipers are 38 Newton meters. These with the T50 bolts are 40, but if you did 38, pretty sure they'd stay put. And if you had a Pro tie bolt, it would tell you on the package what the max safe torque was. And we'll show why these are different from your regular bleeder when we get to bleeding. Besides the fact that it has a nice black cap.
Yes.
There's a one-way valve in here, so it lets the brake fluid come out, but it doesn't let air in the brake fluid go back in.
Oh, that's nice.
So you can actually bleed your brakes without using that vacuum thing. You can just pump the brake lever.
Yeah.
We'll show it once we get it all towards the end. And I'll show you a little trick about these because I always thought they didn't work at all, and then figured it out. So you have to find the right size socket. And the only thing we gotta watch is, so if you look on our caliper here, where the brake line goes in, it goes against this, and that's a stop. We need to hold our brake line so it doesn't move while we're torquing this, which could be a little difficult. And these are always crazy high. That BMW likes 20. I don't know if this, let's see if this little book has a spec for what they want, but I bet you it's about max 25, so we can do the 20. If we make it there. Nice. That should prevent any leaks. Nice. And then yeah, this cap's super nice, just gives it a finishing touch. Put the logo wherever you want.
Very cool.
But this actually serves no purpose. Okay, onto the other side, same thing. All right, so we got the right side caliper installed, dropped the bike down. Now we're gonna remove the front brake line, held on with the same T40 as most other brake lines on a BMW. So let's see what is behind this. I haven't even had one of these buttons off yet. I haven't had a reason to.
Yeah.
Surprised, we've had them for about a year, but no one's upgraded their brakes.
Wow.
Okay, so it's a little bracket that screws on. Spectacular. Now maybe this will match up with the Brembo and we'll just use the BMW one.
Okay.
That would be ideal. Or do we ditch the SOS button?
I think BMW will send you a nasty gram if you did that.
Oh, okay. Fine, we'll keep it. I mean, you're allowed to take it off. It's kind of a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
Because besides just the button, there's all kinds of computers and stuff.
Okay.
Oh, it's a really tiny tamper-proof torque. Spectacular.
What is a tamper-proof?
So if you look, there's a dimple in the middle of that.
Yeah.
And there's a little barb sticking up in the middle of that. So
Yeah.
you have to have what's a tamper-proof torque so that it clears that.
Okay.
Which isn't that uncommon to have anymore, but this small is kind of uncommon. Back when they first switched to Torx fasteners in like 2005, 2004, they brought out the tamper-proof after that, and they were like it was hard to find those sockets for about a year.
Yeah.
And then you could buy them at like Drug Mart. So then they're not so tamper-proof. All right, moment of truth. So what we need to see is if this Brembo clamp, which is super nice because it's got the logo and stuff.
Yeah.
If the stock one happens to match up, same thread, that's pretty good.
Yes.
Same diameter, that's pretty good.
Yep.
Appears to be pretty close to the same thickness. I think we might be all right. We just don't get to use the cool Brembo piece. All right, so since we're putting this on a BMW, we don't need this brake light switch. We can pop that off, get rid of it. And let's see if this is actually gonna mount up. Where did I put that piece at? Here we go. As long as it pinches tight enough, we'll be good. But we could also add some tape or something if we needed to. It's not the end of the world. Nice. Tightened up.
Yeah.
So then I think our SOS button, oh, we gotta put that weird little bracket on.
Yep.
With our super tiny T10 tamper-proof Torx. Say that 5 times fast.
Yeah.
All right, I got our stock Brembo bleeder out and got the Stabilis quick one in. Here's our nice red cap for up top.
Beautiful.
Looking good. Now we just gotta set up our Rizoma master cylinder with the right size hoses and clamps and everything and mounts, and we'll be on our way. All right, so we got the master cylinder on. We got the calipers on. We got our SOS button to work. Awesome.
Yep.
Now we need to put something on to hold brake fluid. For that, we have this awesome Rizoma reservoir. It comes with a bunch of different adapters for fitting a line between it and the master cylinder. We're stuck between either the straight one or a 90 degree. I'm not sure which one I want to use. I'm going to go with the 90 degree one, and then we're also going to put some Tygon hose on it. I lost it. We'll find it in a second. But these things are always a pain to put in. The best thing I found, you can spray silicone spray on this. It won't affect the glass, but don't use brake cleaner.
No.
And grab this with a pair of pliers the best you can, and then twist and push at the same time.
With force.
With force, and it will pop in.
Okay.
Okay, so now we're going to use the little screw that it came with. I like using the stock bracket, and I just pull, where'd the Rizoma? So this all came on this Rizoma bracket, but then we'd be up like way too tall.
Yeah.
So from what I remember is I leave this stock bracket on, and then we just use a little bolt and nut on this guy with this short adapter, and everything plays nicely. We got plenty of clearance to the windshield, lines up looking good, doesn't stick up too high. Has a nice lock nut that holds everything in place. So we know this is easy. It looks like, so if I get this cut the exact right length, it won't kink. But if you go too long, see how this kinks? So if I went too long, we'd wind up with this kink.
Yep,
we
I see
can't
that.
have that.
No.
So we need to cut this and have this play at this angle nicely so that it'll just have this nice arch to it.
Shall
so
we
I
mark
think
it?
That's actually a pretty good idea.
Yeah. What are you going to cut it with? A lightsaber?
Don't have a lightsaber. I have this hose cutter that cuts hoses nice and flat.
Yeah.
Not nearly as cool as a lightsaber. But nice straight cut.
Nice.
Sorry to shoot that at you.
That's all right.
All right, so we got our Tygon line installed and our master cylinder reservoir that's gonna hold our brake fluid. I like to use zip ties instead of hose clamps. We've had the hose clamps fail. They are nice little metal hose clamps. These are the best ones if you are gonna use them. They're crimp style, but you just gotta be careful how hard you crimp them because then you can wind up cutting the hose, where zip tie doesn't seem to cut it. We're gonna use some fresh MOTO 660 here and fill our brake system up. So to do that, we just fill our reservoir.
Good old RBF stands for Racing Brake Fluid 660.
So then on these quick bleeders, I found that you really have to open them up a lot for the bleeder to start working. So it's not your normal like quarter turn and then you just expect brake fluid to come out. You gotta open this thing up like 4 turns. Now we should be able to suck some brake fluid. Yep. We gotta watch though, because it's gonna empty the top real fast.
And if it does that without you refilling, then it
just sucks more air in. Yeah. Kind of defeats the purpose of what we're doing. So that side should have some brake fluid in it now. We'll go ahead and tighten that bleeder up. Go to the other side, same thing. All right, so while you were gone, I went through one more last time. Bled that caliper, bled out up here. We got a nice, awesome brake lever. Super stiff. Still, I like to put a zip tie on these overnight. So put a rag on your grip because the zip tie could leave a little imprint. Just put a zip tie on. Doesn't have to be ridiculously tight, just enough holding it. And what I believe that does is just let air bypass and work its way up.
Yeah.
And it works amazing. This feels good. It'll feel even better tomorrow. This is an awesome master cylinder. It's the RCS. It's a 17 because that's what's supposed to be mated with the ABS system and the calipers. Talk to your Brembo dealer whether you need a 17, 19. They should be able to guide you. Corsa Corda is what gives us our adjustment with the race, street, and neutral positions with this. And then you also can adjust the lever pivot point itself between 20 and 18 millimeters, which 18 gives you like a softer initial bite and 20 gives you a harder bite. And then of course you have your in-out lever adjustment, which is crazy on these. Look how close you can get it. Probably almost to where it hits the throttle housing and you can't use it. That'd be bad. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Or all the way out to giant hands.
That's my hands. I like mine all the way out.
Yeah, right.
You
can do that?
Yeah, feels good. Look at that. Two finger.
That's crazy. But yeah, crazy range of adjustment. All right, so then we're gonna move over to the other side of the bike for our other control lever, our clutch lever. Pull off this little protective cap. And then usually I would always just change this lever while the bracket was still installed on the motorcycle. But we found that 23, 24 S1000s are pretty sensitive with the clutch switch, especially if you have a Brentune. So we don't wanna bend or mangle or be mean to this clutch switch at all. Okay. So this is just how we adjust our free play. We're still gonna set this so that our cable can come out. See that slot there? Right on top here, Ebe. Bring it back. There's a slot right here.
Yes.
So we're gonna line that slot and this slot up. And that's what's gonna let our cable through. But we can actually, do I do that? Yeah, we got that loose enough. I like to then take a crescent wrench, which is missing for some reason. And actuate the clutch over here. And then we can pull up on this.
Oh.
I just hold that with my leg and that'll get our cable out. Did we make it out all the way? There we go. Now we're out. Take that off. And then we can get our cable out of the lever and then break our pivot free. I'll put that on the seat. 30 millimeter Torx and an 8 millimeter nut on the bottom. Said if you go back in the time machine and look at previous videos, I would do this real fast, just pull this pivot bolt, but found that it's pretty easy to mangle this clutch switch. And I think that's what happened with a lot of bikes that weren't shifting well, is people changed their levers just a bit too quickly. So if we pull that cable out, now we have no tension, we're not gonna hit. So this is our actuator on this lever. And what also happens is because you have the tune on your bike, the bike now accelerates a lot harder and a lot faster. You see there's no hole cut out in this lever.
Right.
So the wind will actually push on this lever and push it back a little bit. And it can push it back to the point that it starts to actuate a clutch switch. But look at how much more positive the engagement is here. And we have the hole in the end of the lever. So both those things should help. And then what I'm talking about, I'll show you, is if we pull this clutch perch off, is what it's called. And then this is the clutch switch. So we have these really fine little metal tabs that get depressed. And when you're installing your new lever, it's super easy to have this stick up just a little too far, and then that'll bend it. And as soon as you bend that, it just doesn't work right. You can hear it click. But once they get a bend in it, even when you bend it back, it just doesn't work as good as it should.
Wow.
So I've been taking these off like this and at least installing the pivot bolt in it, so we know we didn't damage our clutch switch at all.
Yes. That's beautiful.
Couple extra steps, but worth it. The 2020 to 2022 bikes did not seem to be as picky.
Okay.
And if you're having an issue, you might also make sure this screw's tight. And some of these switches have even just been bad. But that was just for quick shifter issues at high RPM, high speed. So here, if you listen, here's those switches. You can hear the two clicks.
Yes.
And the one usually doesn't take much to activate once we get the cable set. So then we'll put our cable end in the new lever. The only thing that stinks is you can't see.
Yeah, I see that.
Kind of feel for that. There it is. Push that like that, and now we make our free play adjustment, which is just going to be spinning this adjuster out. So this lever is adjustable for your hand, which is nice. This doesn't change our free play adjustment, but it does kind of change where the clutch engages. So you want to set where you like your lever to be at, and then double check your free play, which BMW wants a fair amount of free play for this year bike, but we're actually going back to the old spec of just about like 5 mil of free play. So,
okay.
So this, before the clutch cable engages, this little wiggle, this is called free play. And then our clutch lever engages. If you have too much, this is really going to be bouncing around while you're riding, and it can engage that switch. But if you have none, you run the risk of burning up your clutch. And you'll notice as the motorcycle gets hot, the free play increases, so that's why we're going to set it pretty tight while the engine is cold. And then we just turn this lock nut. That locks everything in place. And we got two TWM levers installed on the motorcycle, along with a whole new brake system.
Oh yeah.
That changed the look of the front end.
Absolutely. Installed.
New fender installed. Much wider, aggressive look.
Yeah. Should help keep those new Hypures cooler, funneling air right to them.
Built-in brake cooling duct. With the TWM clutch lever, sometimes you can't get that protector back on. Not a big deal.
Okay. I like it. I like the way that looks.
It's actually a little brighter carbon than the M fender that we had on it. And definitely a different shape.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like we got any clearance issues, so that's good. All right, well, that's it. That's pretty successful. Got a bunch done today.
I think so.
Good old new bike build video.
Yep. So yeah, guys, we're not done. Manny from Moto Million will send us more parts for this beautiful machine, and then we will be done with it, and then we will step up to our next bike that we're using for the build series, which is the gorgeous Bluestone Metallic 2025 S1000, Zach.
That's going to be exciting.
I think so.
And then don't forget, we're also taking applications to bling up your 2010 or later S1000.
Yep.
So go to Patreon, check all that out.
Yep.
And thanks for watching this one. Hope you enjoyed it. And these new calipers are pretty cool and lighter.
Awesome. Thank you, Zach.